cometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. But I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, he shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Isaiah 62. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate. But thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee.
How you shouters getting new?
We've been a marching and singing the whole morning.
All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations. Hopefully, they got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to hopefully the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And what I want to get into today, is pretty much, dealing with war. All right, as we know, all right, the scriptures, speak of a third world's war, and how satanic, Esau, Edom, is making the earth, man. And that's how we know, all right, that we're in the time of judgment, because the scriptures speak about how, the more wickedness, that we see, all right, the closer this place is to judgment, So we're gonna start off with the war, if a brother could put Ecclesiastes 3 and 8 and Revelation 9 and 12. I'm gonna queue up this video on RT, but we in the time now, where this thing is winding down. Ain't no more if, it's when, because the scriptures have proven, to be right on point, as far as the accuracy of what it said would be happening, man, down to the T. All right. So the thing is just when, and we see, that things are constantly speeding up. We see, the Esau Edom, is getting more draconian, with his all right, with his decrees, and we see that the earth is constantly getting closer and closer to war. All right, so All right. So let me get the precepts, and then we're gonna go to the clip. All right, now this is for the brother. All right, Sean 72, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, and it says, "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." And right now, we're in a time of war, and as you can see, we're also in a time of hate. All right, because there's so much division in the earth where people are divided, on every level. All right. You have the left and the right. You have family divided. You have the anti, mass, pro-mass, anti-juice, pro-juice. Matter of fact, when I was coming to the house today on the interstate and had a bridge, that we went under, and you had some Edomites with big signs, saying "Let's go, Brandon." All right, and they were just out there, just hyped up, man. So we in the time of hate, man, where people, all right, are ready to go to blows, and ultimately, all right, they're going to go to blood for these different ideologies, man. So we're in a time of war. All right, and what we're seeing and what we're going to see is the tension, all right, that these nations have with America is getting to the point, where everybody's on edge. Now, this is Revelation 9 and 12. It says, this is one woe is past, and behold, there come two more woes hereafter. Yeah, so one woe is that first World War, and the two woes hereafter is World War II and III. So World War II has happened. Now we just awaiting World War III, and we're seeing the buildup. We just keep up with the steps that's leading to war. All right. So let me get this, and we're gonna see the pride of these devils, man. We're gonna see the pride of Esau, Edom, within this little interview. All right, but these other nations, they really go toe to toe, man. So let's get this real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and and brothers, you can go ahead and post the precepts for this video. Let's see, we're gonna get Jeremiah 49 and 31. Let's get Jeremiah 50, 29 through 31. Let's get Isaiah 9 and 5. Habakkuk 2, 5 through 8. The war scriptures out, man. But I'm gonna let this play, man. You can just look on the screen. Look at the pride of this devil, man. On the right. This is the guy representing America. Just look at the pride on this nigga face, man. But
behalf of Israel. Most of the millions go directly to Israel.
Steve Gruber, host of this. Steve Gruber Show. George, let's start with you here. Now, China has repeatedly warned the U.S. over its military presence in the South China Sea and its relationship with Taiwan. So what do you make of this report that Beijing is building targets in the shape of U.S. warships?
Well, duh. All warships are in the same shape. But if the United States Navy is steaming through the South China Sea, the United States is organizing a vast propaganda offensive against China, arresting the daughter of Huawei, banning Chinese crucial supply line supplies. It's inevitable that if you're going to put a face on the target, it's going to be an American.
So what they're discussing, all right, is China, is doing, target practice on warships, model after America. So pretty much, they're doing mock, target practice on American aircraft. You see, on American aircraft carriers. Because those aircraft carriers are in the South China Sea. Which he's going to get into. But this is what they're discussing. They're having this discussion about American aircraft carriers, those warships in the South China Sea. So so China has just started doing, target practice on ships that look like that, man. You see?
American face. But the thing that chilled me most about your package, I'm still reeling from it. The Japanese and German navies are going to be cooperating in the Indo-Pacific. Hooray, hats off for the Japanese and German navies. What could possibly go wrong? The two countries that plunged the war into the most cataclysmic conflict ever seen in the course of humanity. We're supposed to cheer them. Now they intend to team up in the Indo-Pacific region. I wonder if anyone in power now has any historical memory at all.
Now, what he's discussing is what the conflict between Germany and Japan in World War II, and they just give more, confirmation on the scriptures, because guess what the scriptures say? The first war was passed and two more hereafter. So he's talking about what happened in World War II. So now that second war was passed. All right. Now that second war was passed. Matter of fact, I think that brother had that precept. Let me get it. Yep. So he's talking about that second war that's passed. So now only thing left is the third war. All right. Yep, this the brother. GMS and the Truth Orlando. It said the second war was passed, and this is what this guy's talking about now. The second war was Germany and Japan. Had a major conflict which led, to a global war. It said the second war was passed, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. You see, this is the time we in now where the third war is coming quickly. All right, so let me go back to and let it play.
How does that saying go? Whatever you don't learn from, or if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Now, Steve, I want to get you in on this, because if we look back even just last year, we saw when Trump was in office, he was criticized for being the first U.S. president in decades to challenge the one China policy. Now we have Biden appearing to continue with the same strategy in the region. So what does the U.S. have to gain from placing its warships in China's backyard and risking a direct confrontation?
Well, clearly the United States has every right and every reason to defend the Pacific. As you said in the package there, it is international waters. The Chinese cannot create territory out of whole cloth, although they built islands in South China Sea and they built military bases, and they're currently putting in 120 new military silos to launch intercontinental ballistic missiles. And George is right. The Germans and the Japanese were involved with the most cataclysmic war in world history so far. The fact of the matter is China is on an aggressive path. They have territorial disputes with Russia, Japan, Taiwan, Indonesia, the Philippines, Australia. In fact, everybody in the world the Chinese have a territorial dispute with, because China thinks that Taiwan is a province in waiting. It's funny because they think the same about Russia, Japan, and the United States. You see, we're all just living in a Chinese world waiting for them to take over. That's the mindset of Xi Jinping. That's a fact. And that's why he's flexing his muscle. For the first time in my lifetime, they have a blue water navy. They have aircraft carriers. They're building technology. They're building hypersonic weapons that can elude all of the defense systems we have. China is the most aggressive, most dangerous nation on the planet. And to think otherwise is just foolish.
George, I want to give you a chance to respond to that. What do you make of the claim that China is on an
This is what Esau Edom does. All right. This proud devil, to the right, all right, on the screen. This is what the devil does. All right. This man provokes these nations. You see, this man steals resources. This man, all right, bombs the shit out of everybody. But anybody that looks like they're trying to defend themselves, they are being aggressive now. This is how this man does on every level of his society. This is how he maneuvers, man. You see? Now, this guy on the left, which he from Scotland, he from Scotland, he might be a Jake, but he finna get fired up, man. All right? And he finna call out this American representative on this madness, man. He's gonna go into it.
aggressive path?
Ooh, better not annoy them too much then, Steve. If they're as powerful as that, perhaps we oughtn't to be poking them through the bars with a sharp stick. Taiwan is a province of China. That is the position of your own government. It's the position of the United Nations. It's the position of the World War II victors in 1945. It is a fact that Taiwan is a province of China, and most people in Taiwan think that China is a province of Taiwan. To reduce this to cartoonish figures in the way that Steve just has done, well, it practically had me hiding under my desk, just waiting for the Chinese to aggressively advance upon me. Their warships are not in the waters around San Francisco. It's your warships that are around the waters in China. It's your nuclear submarine that just crashed in Chinese territorial waters. It's your country that is aggressively confronting China. And I'll tell you why. Not because of anything to do with weapons, but because you cannot stand the fact that China is the #2 economic power in the world, and very shortly, it will be the #1.
Now, Steve.
Yep. So you see, this guy George Galloway called it Edomite out, man. He called that guy out because he's like, look, it ain't like China warships is on the coast of San Francisco. American warships is on the coast, all right, of China, man. So what the hell is they supposed to do? Then you have nuclear submarines that's crashing over there in the South China Sea. See, one thing about the American military, these guys be wilding out. These American troops be wilding out in the earth, man. You had a Japanese, you had over there in Japan, you had a American helicopter crash on the playground. You see, luckily kids weren't there, but you had the helicopter crash on the playground. Then you have stories of American soldiers killing civilians, all right, in these different military bases around the world from DUI, from being drunk. You see, then in Afghanistan, you had over 1 million complaints, and you can look it up. All right, you had over 1 million complaints for the residents in Afghanistan for American personnel to leave, man. But America puts on this front like their presence in these countries is needed to keep the peace, man. America is wreaking havoc in the earth, man. And it's getting to the point where these nations, all right, they fed up, man. They done had enough of America. See, the planet Earth has had enough of America, man. This is what we're looking at in the earth. So when you go to, let's get it, get Habakkuk 2. Get Habakkuk real quick. Now this is the book, all right, of Habakkuk chapter 2, all right, verse 5. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. And see, the wine is what his doctrine. And this man has spread his doctrine throughout the earth. You know, the planet Earth is under the vibration, you know, of Edomite supremacy, man. You know, his democracy, all right, his westernization, his his you know, his mindset, you know, women's liberation, the alphabet people, you know, and he's proud because he sees the majority of the earth is fashioned after his likeness, man. You see, and he's become proud, you know. But now we're in a time where these nations finna kick back and says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him." It's like verse 5. Habakkuk 2 and 5 says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home." You see, like George Galloway said, these China, I mean these China warships ain't on the coast of America. America warships on the coast of China, man. And this man is everywhere, not just the South China Seas and the Middle East. You know, this man is all right, all in Africa. This man is everywhere. You see, he never keep it at home, man. And it says, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap it up unto him all people. And this man has military. This man has military bases everywhere. You know, it might be in the thousands now. You see, and those bases are pretty much to monitor the earth, man. This man, America has spread itself through the earth, man. All right, and that's why it's made itself a global enemy. All right, and it says, "Shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him!" Going back to that woe, which is the destruction. All right, and then the destruction gonna come from what? That third woe. Woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that laded himself with thick clay. Shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's bloods, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So we're about to see, all right, that energy that American, you know, that bully energy that America has pushed out through the earth. Well, it's finna come back to America, man. You know? Let's get that, man. And you gonna have this proud devil, and this devil that's finna respond, he's finna get more proud. You see? So let's all right, this the brother, the Sean 72. This is Jeremiah 50 and 29 says, "Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the boat. Camp against them round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all right, that she have done." You see, now these nations finna get their lick back, man. And that lick gonna be in the form of nuclear war. And that's why I say all ye that bend the boat. That's all nations that have nuclear capability, man. All right. They now these nations finna do America like America been doing, all right, to them for the longest, man. You see, it says, according that she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, against the Holy One of Israel. And see, as the pride of America heightens, all right, the closer it gets to that nuclear destruction, man. All these prophecies tie in together, they work together, man. You know, for their end goal. That's the destruction of America. All right. The overthrow of Esau, Edom, the wicked, beginning with the elites from rulership, and the ushering in of a righteous kingdom, man. You know, this is where this is all headed to. All right. The brother Deshaun 72, Jeremiah 50 and 3. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets. Yeah, it's gonna be domestically. All right. America's finna die domestically because we see what's being prepped, you know, with these mandates and you know, all these people, you know, juiced out. You see? So you're gonna have, you know, domestic, you know, violence and plagues, All right, that's going to take a lot of Americans out. And it says, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. See, America and everything linked to America is about to be destroyed, man. All right, so the people in America, the soldiers that's, spread out throughout the earth, all right, they finna be judged, man. They finna be cut off, man. The military personnel, the American military personnel finna catch hell, all right, on the planet Earth, man. Because now, hey, they've been pretty much, because you can be an American personnel, like I was speaking on earlier, because they can't even be tried by another court. Like those American soldiers that have killed those people from, DUI, they can't be charged in these other courts. All right, in these other courts in these other countries. Only America can try them, and America not gonna try them. America do pretty much. That's how you know this wrong, because these soldiers can pretty much down there do anything, and not have to go to trial for it, man. You see, but it's gonna come a time where these nations are gonna be busting these soldiers up wherever they at, man. They gonna bring it to them. They've been protected under the banner of America, but when when America, all right, start catching their L, their protection gonna fade away. All right. This is Jeremiah 50 and 31, and it says, "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud." You see, and we finna see this devil get, you finna see a proud smirk on this devil as he try to rebuttal, because he will cut, man. All right. It says, "O thou most proud, said the Lord power of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee." You see, America's about to be visited, man. And in this war, all right, it's gonna produce a lot of casualties, man. Globally. And everything on America that's not of the elect is done. You see? So let's finish playing it.
Steve, in response to that, I know that whenever we talk about a new politician coming into office, campaigning for the presidency, they often use comments such as, "We don't want to be the policemen of the world." We've seen how poorly, rather, the war on terror was carried out in the Middle East. Why do you think that the United States is continuing what they refer to, yes, as freedom of action in the South China Sea, but why do you think that they are continuing to put themselves in a place where they could lead to direct confrontation with China?
Well, clearly, as I've already said, it is international water, and I appreciate George Galloway playing the part of Neville Chamberlain today and turning a blind eye to what is clearly aggressive behavior, building islands in the South Pacific out of whole cloth and creating military bases and being on an aggressive footing. And George, if Taiwan is just a province of China, a rogue province, then why on earth would we defend them? Why would we waste our time to go there? Hold on, let me finish. Why would the American policy be to defend Taiwan if we actually see them as a province of China? That's obviously not accurate. The fact of the matter is the Chinese have taken over Bagram Air Force Base because of a weak U.S. policy. And the truth of the matter is there's a weak policy emanating from the White House right now on all sorts of levels, and that is why the Chinese are as aggressive as they are. And again, they have territorial disputes with Russia, Japan, Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, everybody in their sector of the world. And for them to claim sovereignty over the South China Sea is absolutely in opposition to international law. It doesn't stand up, and it can only be taken in one way. It is militarily aggressive. It is something that should not be allowed to stand. And that's why the Australians, among others, are the ones being most outspoken and pushing back against the Chinese, because the Australians and others in that region have the most to lose in the short term.
Now, George, I want to give you a chance to respond to that. I also want to quickly bring in Obama's comments on climate change, blaming China and Russia. Do you see this policy continuing?
Well, first of all, I won't take from an American any allegation that I'm a Neville Chamberlain. We were standing alone against Hitler fascism when America was watching it on newsreel. So don't dare accuse me of being a Neville Chamberlain. You waited.
That's okay. When the Yankees came to save you, they came to save you.
There was nothing to save if we hadn't stood alone, and we were still paying you back for what you did in the Second World War until 10 years ago. So don't dare lecture me about Second World War affairs, Yankee. Now,
So
as
do the
for
British
Barack
not have an
Obama,
interest in defending
is
against
that-
the Chinese?
is
I mean,
that-
that would be a fair
is that-
question, would it not?
Is that well, as you ask it, let me answer it. It is the policy of the United States of America that there is only one China. Ipso facto, that means that
asking about the
Taiwan
policy of
is
the
a
United
part
Kingdom.
of China. The policy of the United States and the United Kingdom is that there is only one China, and virtually every country and territory in the world accepts that. International law accepts that. The United Nations accepts that. China is the representative of Taiwan in the United Nations. So don't count on your viewers here being as thick-skulled as you would like them to be.
All right, so basically what they're going into now is America is saying that Taiwan is an independent country. And remember what we talked about earlier. America is using Taiwan as a launch pad, all right, for missiles. That's the only interest America has in Taiwan. All right, even Australia, you see Australia, you know, acting as if they're speaking up against China. Well, Australia is being coerced to speak against China because that's another place where America want to house missiles. All right, America don't give a damn about Australia, a damn about Taiwan. Now, the UN recognizes Taiwan as a province of China. Even in UN meetings, China speaks on behalf of Taiwan. All right. So George Galloway is telling this guy, how in the hell, you know, can you act like Taiwan is not a province? All right. How the hell can you act like province? I mean, Taiwan is not a province. All right, of China when it's recognized on the global scale. And then it shows you how hypocritical Esau is. Here it is, Esau, he can claim sovereignty on whatever he wants to claim. America, all right, they claim sovereignty on whatever they want to claim. You see? But if any other nation do it, now that nation is being aggressive, man. And this is the policies that this man governs the earth with, man. You know? That's why you gotta, what's that in Job 14:5? This man is a huge hypocrite, man. So Galloway now see Galloway heated, you know, he's finna go in, you know, he's finna make a heavy statement. And look at this devil on the right, man. Look at this nigga, man. The pride on this nigga, man. You know? But when you go to Job, all right, 14. All right, this Job 14 and 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. All right, that has appointed bounds that he cannot pass. And see, America has reached a point where they not finna be able to do the things that they was able to do to come into power. Now he's at the time where he's finna come out of power. All right, and now he's getting a lot of kickback, man. And people are fed up, man. This is how, like, the energy that you see this guy George Galloway in. This is the energy of the earth towards these proud ass people, man. You know, this is how these nations feel towards America, man. All right. It says and the brother can put that, I think, Revelation 17 and 16. You know, this is Job 20:5. It says, I started at 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. You see? And Esau is the hypocrite, and his joy about the end, man. All right. See, and he's looking like, see, America's used to just dominate these nations. That's why he has this look. You know, and he thinks World War III is going to be, all right, the same usual domination of the American military. It ain't going to go like that, man. You know, it ain't going to turn out like he think. You see? It ain't going to turn out like America think, man. It's going to be real bad for America. All right, I'm going to let it play some more.
I'm asking American mothers here, do you want to follow Steve Gruber into the last war, into a thermonuclear exchange with China? Because if you do, get your tin hat, because you're going to need it. Barack Obama bombed 49,000 times just in 2016 alone. How's that for climate consciousness? How's that for global warming?
For a history
I
lesson?
don't listen to a word
Those on the left,
that Barack
those on
right,
the
Obama
left have been
ever
warning
says.
about.
I know we could continue this conversation.
So he made the point. He made the point of pretty much. All right, he made the point on how when Obama was in office, America did 49,000 airstrikes. You see, when Obama was in office, America did 49,000 airstrikes, man. You know, and this is what George Galloway told this guy. He was like, look, he was talking to the mothers of America. He said, look, do you want to follow, all right, this guy and his advice into the last war? Because this is going to be the last war. You see? This is going to be the last war. Because what did, let me get that, see this brother get that. In Isaiah 9:5, I think the brother posted it earlier. Yep. All right. This is GMS in the Truth, Orlando, Isaiah 9:5. It said, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right. This war is gonna be a nuclear. And that's what George Galloway said. He was like, look, you gonna have to explain to American mothers, all right, why they in a nuclear war. You know, why their sons have been drafted to a nuclear war. All right, because see, America is used to going to other people's countries, air striking the shit out of them, you know, destroying their infrastructure, and then flying back home. You see, it's not gonna happen like that this time. All right, they got them aircraft. All right, missile defense. You know, them them surface to air missile defense system, what they call SAMs. All right. A lot of aircraft carriers, they ain't gonna get to carry out them airstrikes like they was doing, you know, with ease. They not gonna be able to do that. They coming out the sky. All right. And guess what? Missiles coming back this way. All right, and that's something you Americans not used to. See, these other countries used to seeing American fighter jets, like in Syria. You know, little kids would be playing outside or walking home from school, but they got an alarm over there when American aircraft's on the way, and they got to go get into the nearest basement, man. That's the reality of these other nations, man. You see, but that reality is coming to America, man. Except it's gonna be nuclear. It ain't just gonna be regular air strikes. It's gonna be nuclear, man. You know, and it's gonna melt this place with fervent heat. You see, this is where this thing is going, man. All right, this is where all roads lead. You know, dealing with America, man, is destruction, man, and we're seeing that build up, man. But just as you seen how frustrated, George Galloway was. All right, that's how that's the energy that these other nations is coming in, man. You know, they fed up with the whore. All right. This is the brother GMS Shaw Lakama, all right, which the guy George Galloway is from the UK, and that's one of those 10 horns. This is Revelation 17:16. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. All right, we're seeing these nations hate the whore, man, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Nuclear destruction, man. You know, nuclear destruction. And we're seeing a tense hatred, all right, from these other nations towards America, man. You know, what's that? Obadiah 1 and let's get a couple. Yep. And the brother can post Isaiah 47, verse 7 through 10. All right. This is Isaiah 47. Now this Obadiah. All right, let me get Obadiah chapter 1. Yep, this is Obadiah 1 and 7. And it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, and they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You see, and this is the time that we are in. These nations are confederate with America. They're despising America now. And there's a snare for America. See, America gonna go into this war thinking they got these nations as allies and they're gonna be able to use this and that. See, thing about a war, like these allies matter. You see, like even with Turkey being in alliance with Russia, that's gonna affect America because one of the main airstrips, air bases that America has in that region is in Turkey. You know, so when these nations start flipping on America, that means all your assets, all right, all the assets that America had that was linked to these other nations, they're not gonna have it anymore. They're not gonna be able to land them fighter jets anywhere, fuel up and take off and do another mission. No, they're not gonna be able to do that. The earth gonna be against them. America's about to lose horribly, man. This is about to be a bad loss, man. This is gonna be the worst loss, all right, a nation has ever had because no other nation has had this much reach in the earth, man. You see, this is what we're getting ready to witness, man. All right. Let me get this. Get this in Isaiah. American, get ready, man. This ain't gonna be. America used to them cakewalk wars, man. Ain't gonna play out like that. Now shit finna fly over here now. You know? See, you Americans is used to going, you know, the Applebee's, you know, to the Yankees game and all right, drinking mimosas while America is just pounding on these other nations, man. You know? But that's finna come back here. All right. Isaiah 47 and 7, it says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. See, America never thought, you know, that it would be to the point where all these nations will be against it, and these nations, you know, will be planning, you know, a nuclear annihilation of America, man. America never came to mind, you see? And it says, but these two things, all right, shall come to thee in a moment in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. All right. Now slide, I skip verse 8. It says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given, all right. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that says in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Yeah, you think you go ask the average American, all right, woman that has kids, do you think if you ask them what is your child most likely to die of, you think war gonna be one of them? The American people don't think about losing people in war. All right, that's very rare. America has a real low, casualty count within wars, man. All right. Iraq has lost millions since the war in Iraq. You know, America has probably not even hit the 10,000 mark. You see, they're not used to having large casualties in war, man. But see, that's going to change drastically in this third world war, man. That's going to change drastically, man. And it says, verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in thy perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries. And we just seen, all right, dealing with that Travis Scott incident, an example of the sorceries of this place, man. You know, which, I got some other things I'm gonna go into, on another day. I guess we'll just deal with the war on this one. But yeah, just how satanic this place is getting. That's part of the reason why the Lord is setting this place up for destruction, man. All right. And it says, um, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, man. All right. So we are about to, Lord willing, we in those chariots while America is being turned into that lake of fire. All right. Because of this third world war, man. You know. Also with Howard Shah returning, man. So we in the time now. All right. Well, we're just watching the build up to this, man. But these nations is fed up with America, man. They done, all right, with the with the whore, man. All right, they despise this whore. All right, so I just leave it there. I just touch on the other, subject by itself. I guess the spirit just wanted to isolate this one. Dealing with the war, man, and the energy that these other nations, finna come in, man. So Lord will you brothers and you sisters were edified. Till next time I say shalom. Kwam Yashala, Abba Ball, DTA soon.